Patty with the Leather Lady LLC again, and we're going to be talking about Blevins today. What the heck is a Blevin anyway, right? Well, we're going to talk about that, the tools that you need, how to take care of your Blevin, know when to change your Blevin, how many types of Blevins, and we're actually going to replace a Blevin. I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. And who knows what comes in between, because I sometimes forget things and then I add them in. So let's get started real quick. Tools that you're going to need. Get a piece of paper and pencil because there are quite a few things different that you need to know with the Blevin and the burr and rivets that you're using. So here's the list of what you need. First, you're going to need probably a drill. I love Toolman Taylor. He used to have, I miss that show so much. But you're going to need a drill. Definitely, it's the easiest way. Do you really need one? If you can get a Phillips screwdriver and start pounding away, have at it. I used to do that when I didn't know, but my leather mentor taught me this, and I would say take the hint because you will save so much time, energy, and headaches. So get a drill. You're going to need your Blevins. Okay, so I'll show you a different couple ways of Blevins. They can come in a set. This one here happens to be a two. What the heck happened to this one? There is a 2-inch vertical Blevin that you're going to need, and then 2-inch vertical, horizontal or vertical, Blevin that you're going to need. They come in sets, so don't worry about that. You're going to need a burr and rivet setter. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated because burrs and rivets come in different sizes. So really know what size hole you're working with on your saddle. Definitely, because you can see that the holes are a different size on here, and it makes a difference when you're setting those burrs and rivets. Okay, now you need burr and rivets, which you can get probably at Weaver or anywhere else. They usually come in an assorted box in many different, and it's usually between 3/8 and 3/4 inch, and here's what they look like. Okay, so they are different lengths, if you can see that, but they're also different circumference. So you got to know how thick your leathers are going to be and how much you need to put through. Because maybe they've got 2 pieces of leather, and we'll show you that here in a little bit, and then it makes it thicker. So you really need to know. And so somebody out there is asking me, well, why can't you just use a long one and cut it off? You can, however, a lot of the times they're more narrow. So if you've got a big wide hole and you're putting something narrow in it, it's going to start jiggling, okay? Whereas if you have a really fat one and you need the length, you're just going to not have that. Okay, so the other thing too is to know what you're using, because there is the burr and the rivet. Okay, so you're going to be pounding that top part down onto, well, you can't see it in this one here, but you're going to be pounding that down, and so you need to know the thickness. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do that, how to cut it off, how to round it, and kind of stuff. All right, so getting complicated and you're like, I don't want to do this, give me a call, send me a text, I'll do your saddle for you. It doesn't take very long once you know what you're doing. Okay, so you're going to also need maybe a screwdriver, maybe some needle nose pliers, just a regular hammer. I use this is more of a little bit of like a sledgehammer, but I like the weight because for me, as a girl, sometimes it's nice to have that extra weight. Men have more power in their arms sometimes. Not always, but anyway, I like the heavier handles. And you don't need to go buy a 2-inch anvil, but you need something that is sturdy, and it can't be just like your tabletop because that bounces. But maybe using the end of a table here, you know, where your posts are or something, then you can do it and pound it on that. However, you'll get a better effect with like a piece of metal underneath it. You can go to your steel mills or your steel fabricators, or even some of your other fabricators in town, and say, hey, do you have a piece of, you know, maybe 1/2 inch or 1-inch steel? Doesn't matter how thick it is, and buy a piece of scrap from them. That's a lot of what the saddle makers do, or people do anyway. Okay, so those are the things that you need. So the next thing is we're going to talk about the different styles of Blevins. All right, there's two typical styles that are patented, and those styles are horizontal and vertical Blevins. And there's also 2.5 inch, or there's 3-inch Blevins. So what I'm going to show you is this one here, and they come in different styles. So what we've got is here a 2-inch horizontal Blevins. Okay. And some people say if they don't know the equipment very well, they'll use doohickey, that thingy, whatever it is. They'll say that thingy that holds the stirrups on, you know, and they look like they're side by side. Okay, so they're side by side in what when you're going to put it on. So this part is going to attach to the leather. You're going to see in a bit. And then this actually flips and the stirrup will be down this way. So this is a horizontal side by side, 2.5 inch. Now you can get them so that they're 3-inch, okay? But these are about 2 inches apart. Okay, so there's that one that has, this is the cover, okay, that goes on that. So it slides on there. Okay, but you can get the slide with no leather, or you can get it with leather. Okay, this is a different size slide. This is a 3-inch slide, but this is, you can get them with or without. Now when you get them, you're going to get them this color, but I go ahead and dye them the color of the saddle. Okay, so just remember when you get them, they're going to be this color, and you're also going to maybe oil them or whatever because they're pretty hard. Okay, so that's a 2.5 inch. Now we're going to be looking at a vertical Blevin. So this is a vertical Blevin. Okay, very different. So this is up and down. This is side by side. Now your up and down vertical Blevin is usually 2.5 inches, but you can also get them at 3 inches as well. Okay, these are patented by the gentleman that does an awesome job. He's probably one of the ones that supplies most of the United States with these because they're high quality Blevins. You don't want to get a really cheap Blevins because of the safety factors in there, and also too it's costly to, you know, keep replacing your Blevins. So that is that. And then this one comes, if you look at the inside, it's different because this has to slide in this way. It has to slide in here, so this is on the inside. All right, so that's your two types of Blevins, and hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. I'll leave that in there for right now. All right, and then I do have a 3-inch horizontal Blevin that I am working on right now, so we'll show you how to put that back on, but that's what you need for right now. So the next thing we're going to do is talk about the health of the Blevins and know what is the best time to change your Blevins. All right, so we'll see you next. All right, everybody, we're back. And we're going to be looking at a Blevin that I'm not changing this saddle out. I have two others that I'm going to show you, or one other that I'm going to show you. But this I'm going to show you here because I want to talk about the health of a Blevin. And let me grab something before I forget. Is that we're going to talk about this Blevin. Now this is a vertical Blevin, remember, and this is something that they don't take care of it because this is a saddle that sat in somebody's shed for a long time. But you'll see at how the Blevins, the rivets, this one has 3 holes. There are some that only have 2, but look at how green these are. These have already started to corrode onto the leather. Even though this is a saddle I just oiled, okay, and so it was drier than dry. I think we did it probably 3-4 times. But this is something that you're going to watch the health. Get yourself a toothbrush or something and keep the green off of here because it's beginning not only to corrode your burr and rivet, it's beginning to corrode your leather. So very dirty Blevins. We still need to finish cleaning this saddle. And then this is the part we're going to drill out. Now this is the inside, and I was talking to you how there's 2 pieces of leather a lot of the times. I'm going to move that back there. This is the part that goes into this, okay? I wish I had the GoPro on me, but this goes into the holes on your leather, and your stirrup comes out this way. All right, so there is possibly a protective piece of leather that is very thin, but again, look at this, it's already tearing here. I'm not concerned about this one, just because it's not the support. The support is down here. This is what I am concerned about. Okay, and so we're going to show you how to replace these here. Now, this same person, I think she acquired saddles is what she did, and so she's trying to fix them and get them back and plenished again. But this is what happens to your Blevins if you gradually don't take care of them. You set them out in the mold and you set them out outside. We're in the Pacific Northwest, so you really have to keep your stuff in heat, like in a heated tack room, so this doesn't happen. If you can see this one here, I had to cut the end off because if you look at really close, it's cracking, and it's the leather's already no good. It'll start peeling and everything. But you can actually see it has really corroded the burr and rivet onto the Blevin itself, and look at how nasty that is. Very, 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 very unsafe. Extremely unsafe. I would not put a person in that, because on the other Blevin, it actually, if you look here, it literally broke in half. So very dangerous. Okay, so want to make sure that you take care of those things. And personally, I give back all the pieces. When you bring me a saddle to fix or whatever, I give it back. You can tell me if you want me to throw them away or not. So one of the first steps about a Blevin that what you need to do is get these off. And how are we going to do that? We're going to grab our drill, make sure it's in the forward motion, and we're going to begin to drill these out. Okay, I'm not going to do this on this one because but I would basically put it in the center and begin to drill it out. Boop, boop. Now, you're going to have to put some pressure down into that. You're going to have to probably hold it onto something hard. I personally have, I have a block my mentor had made for me. And so I put that underneath, just something up so that I can have some stability in there. And then I can go ahead and drill down. Okay. And then those things, you're going to start to see little copper rivet, little copper shavings come up. Be really, really careful with those copper shavings. Make sure you have some glasses on or something like that. But also too, when you get done with that, you need to throw them away, because if they end up on the floor, or you have somebody come out, my shop is cement, and if somebody comes out in bare feet and that goes into your foot, really, really time to go to the doctor to sometimes have them removed. Very dangerous. So make sure that when you're done, and my shop is so small, I have to clean every single time to get them off. You'll see a few little things here of the copper shavings in there. Okay, so that is the first step. Simple? Yes. Very simple. Does it take time? Yes, because here's the thing, you don't want to go too fast with your drill. So if you're going like, you're creating heat, and then if you accidentally go through the center of this and you've created heat, you can make your hole bigger. You don't want to do that. You want to just get to the point where you can take a screwdriver and get underneath one of these. Once you get it done, I'm going to see if I can show you one, and then you can pop this off. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do this for you guys. So this is that saddle that I took these corroded ones off on, right? That I was showing you, these horrible ones. And I'm going to actually work with this saddle for you. So I had to cut them off, but you can see I have plenty of leather here. However, what you want to pay attention to is when you're replacing something of this nature, because you're actually rebuilding the end of the the leathers is that you'll see one is shorter than the other. That is on purpose, because when that saddle turns, you want it to be able to be the same, or that leather turns, you want it to be the same. Okay, so you're going to find that your holes here and your holes here will not match up, but when you put them together with your blevin, they will. Okay, so that's one thing that you want to pay attention to, because you're still going to make the holes. Say I want to make the holes a 1/2 inch from the end. I'll start my holes 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to do another 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And then when I go to put the blevin together with the burr and rivets, I'm going to do that, because when I turn that leather, it's going to all match up. Okay, so we're going to make holes in these ones here, because this one I had to literally cut off. Now, remember I said this saddle was dry as dry can be? I had to put probably 3 layers of, I use Black Rock, and then I use a conditioner from Be Natural. I probably put 3 layers, and then I also put some oil to see if it's supple enough to even, warrant have my client spend the money. Because if the saddle's too old and the saddle's too hard and dry, what's going to happen is I'll be able to put them in here, but then all of a sudden it's going to start to fall apart and rip. I don't waste people's money, and I don't waste their time. Saddles and horses are expensive. So there's a lot of little elements that go into looking at if you want a quality replaced blevin. What I do as the leather lady, because some people don't, they just say, okay, you give me your blevins, or they'll order you blevins, they'll slam them in, and there you go. They don't educate you on what you need to know. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to put some holes in this, and then I'll go ahead and show you the next set, and we'll go from there. All right. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to put a blevin back into the saddle. Now, there is a couple things that you can do. If you want to twist your stirrups, you can actually flip the blevin over, depending on the way that your stirrup is set. I'm not going to go into twisting stirrups. There's a whole video there that I have for you if you want to do that. We're just going to put the blevins back in the way that this saddle had them, and that is going to be our next step. So the blevin is going to be this way, because we have to bend over this blevin to go into these holes here, right? So we want to make sure that we do it that way. So you're going to take your bottom leather there, okay? Oh, by the way, here are the burr and rivets that I'm going to be using. And the reason why I'm going to be using these ones, these are 3/4 inch burrs, and the reason why I'm using these ones is because they fit in these holes. You see, again, you're going to have to watch what size hole. They're a little bit loose, that's okay, nothing wrong with that, because we're going to have leather there. So if they are too fat, they're not going to fit in there. So watch what your holes are. I'm using a long shaft, a 3/4 inch shaft, because of the width of the metal and the width or the thickness of the leather. Okay, so we're going to put 1 burr in here, and then we're going to put the blevin. Then we're going to put the next hole here, and you see that they are slightly off. That's okay, because when we go to turn it, it's going to, you'll see, I don't think I can show it here, but they're going to come together here, okay? So then we have to place, now the hole's a little bit bigger, that is okay. We're going to place the rivet on top there. And there are 2 sides to this, so there is a flat side and there is a nice shiny side. You're going to put the flat side down, and you're probably going to have to hold it there until you smack it with your hammer. So let me grab my little anvil here. This is going to be a little bit of a pain to show you how to do, but we're going to do it. So I'm going to be using a little bit of a metal anvil because I like to get it nice hard hit, that it gets nice and tight. Okay, so we're going to do this here. We're going to place that on there. Now it doesn't have to be exactly straight. Okay, so I'm going to pound down here on this rivet. And there we go. So we've got our first burr and rivet down. Now some of the times if they don't fit properly, because sometimes you're going to buy these kits and you're going to have some really weird like holes and things like that. So I had to take a break and pull some and do that. But you're going to go ahead and have those again. So I'm switching up a different size here for a second. And we will go to the next one. And put that in the bottom hole. Now this one might be too big. That one is too big, so let's go to the next one. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the other two, and then I'll come back and show you again. But that's all you're going to do. You're going to repeat that. You're going to put the flat part in, you're going to put the metal, then you're going to put the second piece in, and you're going to put the round hole part in here, and then you're going to pound it as hard as you can 2-3 times until it sticks. Now if your rivet comes popping off, then you just have too big of a rivet. As I said, these come in a variety of sizes, so you're going to have probably the wrong rivet, and so that's why I always have extras on hand, because I mess up just like everybody else. Okay, so I'm going to show you this last one here. So I put the rivet in. Okay, I'm going to get it as flat as I can, because when we pound it, it'll get flat again. I'm going to look for that flat side here. I'm going to put that flat side down there. Okay, so it's going to be sticking up a little bit here, okay, and that's fine. That just shows that you've got the right rivet there. And you're going to take your tool, put that over the hole over the part, and I might have to change tools. This is a little bit bigger. Okay, now I've got it down on there. Okay, so I have two different sizes on the outside and the little one is on the inside. I decided to switch up a little bit, but when we do that, you'll see that this is a lot longer, creates a little bit more of a headache, because our next thing is I want to make sure that they're tight on there, but then we need to go ahead and cut these as short as we can. Now there's different ways that you can do that. I just do it with my pliers here that I have, because this is copper, so it's soft, so you should be able to clench it. So what I do here is I go ahead and push it down as far as I can go on the rivet, and then I clench it, but then I actually push it as far as I can. This is where it's going to take a little muscle, or if you have a gentleman in your area. I don't, so I have to do everything myself. But I go around it so that I get a nice round point, because if you pinch it to the point where it's sort of like oblong, I'll show you here in a minute why that's important. Really important to discard these into the garbage can immediately, because if they get in your foot or in your skin, not good for you at all. So you see, sir, it's still a little bit tall, which is fine. It's got a little point, but it's round, okay? You want to make sure you try to keep it round as much as you can, okay? It's really, this leather, if you could feel this leather, it's so hard. You got that off. You got sort of like little peaks and valleys or mountains, little see, but you got a little bit off the top there. This is a reason why you don't want to get it too short, too long, because we're going to hammer these down next with the rounded part. This one being a little bit thicker, it's the outside, so I like to do them a little bit thicker. And there's other ways that you could probably snip these, but this is the way that I've always done it. And it also gives me a workout, keeps me strong as I get older, works my muscles, and my hands limber. All right. And there's that other piece. Okay, so that's a little bit longer just because of the wider burr I use. Okay, so now that we got those done, you'll see that they're very sharp, they're very tall, and this is where this other little part of the tool comes in. So this is where we're going to do the rounder, and we're going to just, what I do, I've learned over the time, because you can mess up on them. You want just sort of a nice pretty round edge. I take it and I go around in a round motion to get it nice and round. You can pound on it straight down, which will get it flat. But the thing is that you want to also make it nice and round, because this is what seals it in, and so that it doesn't get removed. Now, sometimes it works, sometimes you have to redo these things. It just depends. That's why I use a heavier hammer, because I want to get that round. Okay, and see how that's nice and round there? Okay, that's what you want, because now it is sealed. Now you can bang it down a little bit more too, if you want, but it is sealed on there. But using a heavier hammer really helps in this process. Okay, we're going to do 2. Go in a round motion. And you can lift it up and see where you're missing. Okay, it's a little bit flat down there, so I'm going to hit the other side a little bit more. I'm trying to hold the leather in place. And again, they're not always going to be perfect, and that is just okay. Round motion, make sure you're going around, getting it all nice and round, and then finishing it off. Now, if there is some sharp edges you want to feel, that you want to see if you want to go over that just a little bit more, you can do that. Or you can actually take a little bit of sandpaper and go around. But now you have new burr and rivets and a new blevin. So what's going to happen now with this one here is we've got this set here. We've got to put on as well this piece here. So we've got to slide this on there. This leather. So I've got it on the leather this way. This is the part that's going to go in there. We're going to take this, put this in the holes. Okay, and then we're going to slide that over. And now you have a blevin for your strap. Okay, so it's going to, I'm going to move these leathers up so that they match up. But now you have a new blevin. Okay, so that's how you do that. So I hope this was educational and helpful for you. I hope it was something that you can use. The next video you might want to watch is twisting your leathers for your stirrups to save your knees, because that you can do right here. And it can just be one quick turn of your blevin and your knees are going to be so much happier. But I do talk about your stirrups, flattening your stirrups, or adjusting your stirrups on the bottom. And we talk about shims and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you watch my other videos. And thank you for watching The Leather Lady. Please don't hesitate to go to my website at The Leather Lady LLC. Make sure you add the LLC.com. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and support my channel. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you at the next video.